What's going on, everyone? We are getting some Lakers signings. Not the kind of signings that we all are hoping for, in which upgrade the main roster, but we got an Exhibit 10 signing of Kylor Kelley. Now, Kylor Kelley is a center, 7 feet. He has the all-time blocks record. I believe he's first all-time in blocks for Oregon State. Played last year with the Boston Celtics main team. He was on the Oklahoma City Thunder's summer league team this recent summer league. But this is a guy, 7 feet. He's like 215, 220 pounds, so he doesn't really have the size we're looking for at the center position. But this is an Exhibit 10 signing. This isn't like a main roster signing or anything like that. More likely than not, what happens is he'll go through training camp. He'll work out with the team in training camp. Then he'll end up getting waived and then sign with the Lakers G League affiliate, right? So he'll just be another big man, another center that the Lakers can bring in to help grow and develop in the G League under the G League banner. Thing is, though, he is already 26 years old. So he's not 22, 23. This is a guy in the G League last season. Again, he played with Maine. Averaged 7.5 or 7.8 points. So basically 8 points, 6 rebounds, 1.2 assists, and nearly 3 blocks. He was like a hair under 3 blocks per game. He's a guy that's looked at as a rim protector, floor running big, guy that can be kind of versatile, particularly on the defensive side. Now, can he do it to an NBA level? Can he do it to an NBA standard? It's where it's going to come in. My thing is that, like, where does he slot in? Right? Like, again, he's 26 years old. You have Jackson Hayes, who's younger. You have Colin Castleton. Are you ever going to use those two guys? Like, is Colin Castleton ever going to move up? Right? Like, I think there's even an argument for Mo. Like, you go with him instead of Kylor. Again, like, this to me just is kind of like a let's get a look at him type thing, right? Let's bring him under the Lakers banner. And that way we have some level of, like, control on, like, hey, at least he's with us. So if we ever want to move him up, down, whatever, right? If he kind of becomes a position of need, right? If the Lakers pull off a trade or end up making a move or something like that, in which they now need, like, that third big man or something, sure, you could bring him in. But to me, it's just like, yes, shot blocking wise, like, being a just shot blocker, rim protector for the Lakers, I do think he is the best that the Lakers would have. He's better than Jackson Hayes. He's better than Colin Castleton. That's for sure. But it's just like Colin Castleton, at what point do you just get rid of him if he's not ready? At what point do you just say, all right, like, if you're bringing in all these centers and all these big men to work out and grow and develop, Colin Castleton, he's not 19, right? Like, again, Kylor's not 19, 20, 21, 22. He's 26, right? So what, are you going to develop him for 2 years? Now he's 28, right? It's just like, how many years are you going to get with this guy, right? I'm all for, like, Lakers have done a good job throughout the history of just finding those veteran style just rookies, right? Bringing in the 23, 24-year-olds and boom, immediately having an impact. That's great to have. But the Lakers want to be a development program, right? The Lakers want to be an organization where you go to develop to actually get in the league. I'm not saying you can't have these occasional, 24, 25-year-olds that, are a year or two away, like Blake Henson. I think take a year developing him, boom, I think he could be ready on an NBA roster. I think he might be able to be ready now, but I don't hate the idea of, like, giving him a year to kind of get his feet wet and then converting him to an actual roster spot. But guys that you really want to develop as, like, that next wave, that next influx, I just think that they need to be younger, right? Again, it's fine. You want to bring in a 22, 23-year-old, sure. But, a 27-year-old, 26-year-old, it's like, if he's not ready to make an impact now, it's like, how long is he going to, like, 26 is usually when guys are starting to get into their prime or they're close to approaching their prime in the league. That's where the thing lies. I don't hate the idea of bringing in Kylor and just kind of giving him a look and seeing what he gets, but, like, the expectation of him being a guy that's actually on the roster and stuff, probably not going to happen. The other signing that the Lakers did was bringing in Quincy Olivari. Look, I like him a lot too. I like Quincy. He's a guy that many of you might remember as like that 20-point scorer in that final game in which he hit like 6 threes. He to me is like, again, he's not 26, he's 23. He's a guy that you can grow and develop and kind of mold and shape, right? He has the tools you're looking for, can play defense, right? Got good size at the point guard position. He's more of a 2 guard than he is a traditional point guard, but he is a guy that like is in the mold of like a Gabe Vincent, right? Can bring the ball up, can initiate your offense, but probably best playing off ball, catch, shoot, 3-point shooter, make the occasional play, be a point of attack defensive guy, right? I like that, right? Like guy like him, okay, grow, develop. Question is, where do you really slot him in? Because it's like you got Jalen Hood-Schifino, you got Bronny James, and then at the 2 guard, you have Austin Reeves and you have Max Christie. So, like, where does he slot in? Where does he fit? Now, again, trades can always solve that, right? If the Lakers go and pull off a bunch of trades, and let's say you move off of Jackson Hayes, and you move off of, Rui, and you move off of some of these guys, and it's like, okay, well, now we have, like, 2 roster spots we need to fill, but we're limited on money. Right? Let's see if Blake Hinson's ready to go right now. Let's bring in Blake Hinson, give us some size and some 3-point shooting, and then let's bring in, a Colin Castleton as a 3rd big, and now you can put Kylor in as like the 2-way center, and then bring in, Olivari, Quincy Olivari as like your 2-way guard, and then there you go. Right now you have, Armel Traore, Quincy Olivari, and then you have Kylor Kelley, right? Boom, there you go. Right now you got your 3 guys on your 2 ways that you're developing in the G League. You got your roster. Guys like Blake Hinson and Colin Castleton now are getting the opportunity. Right? It's just the Lakers have done a good job of finding those diamonds in the rough at 25, 26 years old, or 24 and all that stuff, but they've helped immediately, right? They've been players that immediately come in. Austin Reeves, guy that immediately came in and have an impact, right? Not somebody at, 27, 26 that, it's just you still need to develop him for 2 years, right? At him, bringing in Kylor as just that shot blocking center, right? If you just need somebody that can give you rim protection, right? Give you, 5 minutes a game, just kind of bring up on it. Like if they just want him on the G League so that way they can bring him up on occasion, right? Like, hey, AD's out tonight. We could use some rim protection, right? Hey, you're going up, you're playing a role, you're playing in a spot. Sure, right? Do that all day. Like that's fine. But the expectations of him actually getting and being on the roster, I don't know. I don't know. I don't really see that personally. And then it kind of begs the question, would you rather go the route of a younger guy that you can develop for the next 2-3 years and then is now getting into that age range where they can start having a real impact, right? Like, again, I mean, look, if he's 28 and you have him for 5 years as like a quality rotation big, that's not a bad thing and that doesn't hurt, right? Like, you got him 4 or 5 years, cool. Right? Like if you can have somebody like that, I'm not saying that, you don't give these guys a shot. I'm not saying you don't give these guys a chance, but you gotta, the problem is you gotta have the quick turnaround, right? Where somebody 20 that's really raw and has a lot of upside, you can spend 3-4 years really developing him and getting him where he needs to be. And he's still younger than the guy that's 26 now, right? And if he just even gets to where the guy is at 26, by the time he's 24, he's already ahead of schedule. You get what I'm saying? Like, again, if a guy can play, he can play, and let's go, right? If he's a guy that can have an impact and be, even in spots, then let's go, right? Lakers obviously like him, think he has a good look, right? This was an all-defensive guy with the G League, great with the Summer League team for the Oklahoma City Thunder. He's a guy worth taking a look at, but I don't necessarily see him as like a long-term piece, right? I think that this is just, hey, let's take a look and see if maybe we have something here immediately, right? I think they're looking at, which, again, maybe this is a signal of trades coming, right? That could be kind of interesting, right? Because if a trade's coming and you're moving off of Jackson Hayes, then this signing makes a lot more sense, right? Even as an Exhibit 10, because you can convert him to a two-way, or you can convert him to whatever, right? So if the Lakers, are closing in on a trade, then this kind of makes a little more sense. Where outside of that, it's just like, I don't know, like there's other guys that you may be able to get a look at. But those are just my thoughts and opinions. And as always, I pass the question on to you. Let me know yours down in the comments below. What did you think? What do you think? What are your thoughts? What are your thoughts on Kylor? Are you excited for him? Are you not? Are you kind of like, do you kind of indifferent about it? What are your thoughts on Quincy Olivari? And his signing to a Exhibit 10. Quincy is a guy that I do think eventually could get to the roster. I don't think it happens this season. Could he get like spot minutes here and there randomly? Sure. But I think more likely than not, he's spinning the G League this year. Same thing with Kylor. I think he's spending the time in the G League this year. And then maybe be a piece next year, unless the Lakers just need some cheap, because they don't have a ton of money to play with. So if they end up pulling off a trade, they may need, two guys that they can sign for, $500,000 or $1 million combined or whatever. I think the minimum's like $900,000, so like $200 or $2 million, right? So something like that. But anyway, again, how you feel, whatever your thoughts are. Love to hear it. Let me know down in the comments below. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me a lot. It's me enjoy these types of videos. I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.